or anything like that?
I've avoided that.
Right, right.
I did that last year and nearly got stampeded, so I thought I'm not going to do that again this year. I think I'll just observe from afar.
Okay.
I thought I was very pleased with that response, because last year when we came, I mean the response was great last year as well, but it was a new show, so I was like, yeah, we want to see this new show. And what's happened in the past year, not that I'm particularly aware of this, to be honest, other like David Blue, who's Mr. Twitter computer guy, you know, he keeps us up to date. There seemed to be a sense that there was, particularly from the previous audience, that they weren't too sure about the show, you know. And what then seemed to happen is that maybe half the audience was leaving to be replaced by a newer audience. And I think the reaction that we received in the hall yesterday was kind of put that to bed once and for all. I think they're very much enjoying Stargate Universe now and accept and realise that it's a different show. It's not SG-1, it's not Atlantis. It's a much darker tone than these shows, but a heavier tone. And I think they're beginning to embrace that, and the new audience particularly are loving that. When it was first mentioned to me, my manager, he said to me, he said, well, you're going to say no, but there's this thing, this is Stargate. No, I don't know it, I don't know that world, and nothing against it, but I just didn't know it, you know. And it seemed light to me, you know. And John Rubinstein, my manager, said, look, well, maybe you should have a chat with these guys, because there's something quite interesting in this for you, you know. So I got a synopsis through and had a look and seen the breakdown of this character Rush. And what struck me right away, of course, was this man doesn't want to go home. So this is perfect. This is exactly what you want as an actor, because then suddenly you have myriad questions then. Why this? Why that? Why this? Why would they do that? So all of these whys were suddenly in the head of that character right away. So then, speaking to Brad Wright and Robert Cooper, the creators, after that, we had about 2 or 3 telephone conversations. And what came out then was, I mean, to be perfectly honest, the first thing I said to them was, I was very flattered. Why the hell do you want me to do this? You know, that kind of guy. And they said, well, in a sense, your reply is why we want you to do it. I thought this is becoming really quite psychologically interesting conversation, but what came across was that if it wasn't going to be me, it was going to be someone like me to kind of front the show. And that was all I kind of needed to hear, in a sense. That meant they were serious, you know, that it wasn't going to be, we'll get, you know, Robert Carlyle in here and we'll fill it with the rest of the same stuff. That couldn't work, and I was very aware of saying that to them, that do you realise when you employ me you're going to get a different style of actor that you've been used to working with, you know, is that okay with you guys, you know? That's what we want, you know, that's fine. And once all these things had been nailed down, it was then down to, well, what is this about? What is this thing I'm about? And I was quite frankly kind of blown away by the scale of this thing. To some of these pieces, Joe, I don't know if you agree or not, but for me, some of these episodes, 43 minutes of television, it's pretty high-end stuff.
Yes.
The writing is quite exceptional, and some of the performances I think are wonderful. To get that in 43 minutes, I think is a fantastic achievement. Personally, yes. I personally think it could be done. It could have been done before now. But interestingly enough, when we go in not halfway through, but a third of the way through the second season, I've just learned this expression recently as a game changer, I think they call it.
Okay.
Call it here. Where things just go like that. And Rush and Young went to investigate an abandoned alien ship. They're on their own. While they're up there, Young discovers that Rush has learned, he knows where the bridge is on the ship, and he's actually steering the ship, he's propelling the ship, he's navigating the ship. Young goes crazy, obviously, at this. And then Rush, there's an 11-page scene that follows between myself and the Colonel, followed by another 8-page scene after that. So another 19 pages of dialogue there, a lot of stuff. Very, very I mean, top end stuff, Joanne, really, very, very good. And everything is then revealed in that moment. That he confesses, of course, that he's discovered the bridge, he confesses he's steering the ship, all of this. But what he tells them is something that changes everything, that in fact, there has always been a mission. It has never been about going home. Never. We will never be going home. It's about going forward. And it's the only way to cope with this is to embrace it, to embrace the ship, to stop saying, keep saying that we don't belong there. We do belong there. Destiny is called destiny for a reason. We're all there for a reason. And what he, without giving the game away too much, what Rush unveils to Young is absolutely mind-boggling stuff. In shorthand, it's essentially, we're talking about a journey back to the beginning of time itself. So it begins to expand even more now, this thing, and it gives them purpose on the ship. And I think that's what the producers felt, that it needed a little bit of purpose after the first season of, okay, they're up there, what are they going to do? This is what they're going to do. But is he telling the truth?
Yes.
Well, that's an interesting one, because we're at episode 11 at the moment. The episode that I just told you about is called The Greater Good, and that's followed by an episode called Malice. They're kind of 2 parts, and I think they came in episodes 8 and 9. So at that point, from that point, the next 2 episodes, Louis Ferrer and I kind of spoke about it a lot and said, well, we should try, and when we say the lines, to try and soften them a wee bit towards each other here. And there was one little thing. Sometimes you can do it without words, you know. And Louis and I did this moment in the mess hall where he was coming out and I'm coming in, and he says to me, we need a report on such and such. And on the way by, all I do is just tap his arm. I'll give it to you later. That's enough. Rush would never have done that. Rush would want to kill this man. But that signifies, okay, we're going to get on a little bit here. But it's enough. It's arm's length still. So I would say anyone who's a fan of the show and enjoying this show and enjoying this Rush Young dynamic, that it ain't over. Yeah, that's an interesting question, that, because you're always looking for that, really, in a way, and you're always trying to make it different. If I can say this, it seems strange talking about the character that I'm playing, but I do think that Rush is maybe the difference here, because you have someone on the ship who is in a sense, in one sense, a fifth columnist. You don't know what this guy is up to. Is he the enemy or not? And he is right by your side. And I've never seen that before. I've never seen that in a drama before, when you've got some central characters that are so linked and bonded together, but yet one of them is maybe not. That's generally the stuff that's reserved for feature film. That will take place over maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, and by the end you reveal this guy's been against you the whole time. But here we have a situation where the audience are watching this guy going, I don't know whether I trust this guy at all, anything he says. And I think that's fantastic drama. So I think that if I can say that, I think Rush, for one, is certainly one difference, one character that makes the difference in the show. But then coupled with the visuals of the show, the look of it, the broken down ship, the fact that it's 100,000 million years old, the fact that they don't know how to fly it, they don't know what they're doing, there's no air, there's no water. Every type of science fiction serial I've ever seen has been pretty, very clean. You know what I mean? Everyone looks great. This is what all this is about. It's been trying to break the whole thing down, and I think there's a broken down look about Stargate Universe, which makes it quite unique.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure, my friend.
Pleasure.